U.S. Treasury yield curve inversion has reached new extremes, and this seemingly has been the case over the last handful of months. The yield curve just keeps popping. We just keep going down the line. Shorter end of the yield curve keeps inverting, and the rates become higher than the long end, and this just is happening over and over and over again. U.S. consumer confidence slipped to a 4-month low in November. And again, this is from Liquidity, their financial email they send out each day. It's a great email. The U.S. government will backstop mortgages above $1 million for the first time. Well, that doesn't seem great. You know, I came from the real estate industry over the last 10, 12 years. You have so many bankers, so many real estate people saying, oh, this time is different. This time's so much different. And in ways it is different. There are many different things. There are other things in place now. However, when you have many of the loans, many lenders have been easing what they're doing over the last 5, 6 years from everything I've seen. And someone else could tell you differently, but of a lot of things I've seen, just the way they've been easing things in the background. And then also you've got the government coming in saying, hey, we're going to backstop these loans. And you know, this just kept happening year after year. More things would happen. And it just really not on a lot of people's radar. Again, the crashes, kind of like breaking a bone in your body, they don't happen in the same spot. Generally that place heals up, you kind of fix those things, and then it pops somewhere else. Just like we had a stock bubble 20 years ago, then we had a real estate bubble, now we've got a bond bubble. You know, we're in a 40-year bond bull market, meaning the rates are through the floor and the bond prices are way up. So we have this everything bubble now that we are, as Mike Maloney has called it, really coming into for decades. This bubble, they keep trying to do things, and then the free market, it just kind of pops out a new bubble somewhere else, right? You try to put it down here underwater, and it squirts out here, like the water just squirts out and finds its level, right? And this is what happens all the time. And central planners, centrally planned, command and control economies from the Soviet Union on. We for some reason think that we as human beings can control the quadrillion inputs and outputs every single day, and we can command that with a couple people in a room or 12 people in a room or something. It's just absolute insanity. So we have all this crazy stuff going on, and then we have the federal deficit again. Wall Street Journal saying it's come to a record $250 billion last month. Again, widening again. Who is paying for that? Right? Who is continually paying for this? Right? It's the average citizen owes $100,000 a month. I think every average taxpayer owes about $250 a month. And you go to usadebtclock.org to go check that out. Awesome site showing the debt just piling up, and that will be paid through inflation. We are going to continue experiencing massive inflation going forward. This is not going to stop because we have to keep paying for this insanity. And you're going to probably see them say something like, oh, well, the new target's 4% or 5% or something like that. 2% theft, that wasn't good enough. We're going to be at 4 or 5% or more. Financial repression, we've talked about it here many times before. Lynn Alden has unbelievable write-ups about this. It's going to be the financial repression, debasing the currency, printing of currency going forward. That will be the way the governments get out of this, which means the taxpayer, the citizen, loses, meaning your life gets more expensive, meaning your wages don't keep up, meaning you have too much month at the end of your money. That's why we continue to talk about Bitcoin. It cannot be debased. It's permissionless, trustless. You don't have to trust some 12 men in a room not to rug pull you. This is why we continually beat this drum, and we'll never stop. Freedom, liberty, happiness, life, this is what we'll continue to fight for, always. And at the end of the day, again, then we have something like this that comes out, was this today or yesterday? Consumers see inflation easing considerably in the next year. Really? Okay. Well, great. The inflation is apparently it's coming down a little bit. This is, if you look up Weimar Germany, what happened 100 years ago, and episode 7 of Hidden Secrets of Money from Mike Maloney is incredible because he goes through the exact feelings and what people were seeing in Germany, and these swings, these violent swings of, no, we have no inflation, we have a ton of inflation, then we have a deflation, then we have, this is what we're going through. This is what we're about to enter here, and it lulls people into this sense of like, oh, look, now we're good, guys. And so the consumer, inevitably is really on the wrong side of the trade generally. So they're like, oh, great. We just said at the beginning, the yield curve is inverted, meaning that's always signaling. I think it's down to the 3 month, the 6 month. I believe I know it's down to like the 2 year and the 1 year is inverted. So that again is showing you, it's telling you, alarm bells flashing, red lights flashing. We are entering a recession. Possibly even worse. So we have to be prepared for that. And that's why we continue to talk about resiliency, independence here. And this is what we're going to continue to do in questioning everything. So if you guys like this content, please like and subscribe it. Please share it. Please get it out there because this is so important. The more we can be independent and resilient. Gas, energy, water, food, Bitcoin, gold, silver, security, firearms. Being able to sustain life when the grid is down, or when this is not, and it's not prepping. It's just being prepared. It's being a normal citizen. It's being a good family member. It's being able to help your neighbor. That's all it is, right? It's being prepared and having the skill and the ability to do it now, and also prepare now, so that way you're not going and gouging and or hoarding things when that time comes. So be prepared. The less we need our overlords, the better. The more freedom and liberty we have. That's what we're going to continue talking about. We're going to talk about the finance stuff all the way through to how can we fix our own life, because the more of us that do this, the more that we are going to have freedom and liberty in the rest of our lives. The more safety and security, ironically, we're going to have, because we are going to be taking care of that on our own. The independence and resilience that we have creates more safety and security. Now it's decentralized. Now supply chains are decentralized. You're not having to rely on stuff coming from China. You can talk to your local rancher, right? Shake their hand, a local grocer, things like that. That's what we have to get back to. We have to get back to this system that is decentralized and that has all kind of fail-safe buffer built into it, because we've seen how fragile our networks are. And people thinking like, oh, we're just gonna go back to things as usual. Like, let's go, guys. Nothing to see here. It's totally fine. We're good to go. When the yield curve, like we said, is showing you there are problems ahead. Meaning, at the end of the day, and this is the punchline, the Fed's gonna have to jump in at some point. The Fed's going to have to come in. Their balance sheet, they have 9 trillion or 10 trillion, or is around 9 trillion in assets on their balance sheet of bonds. They're going to have to start buying stocks out of the stock market. They're going to have to start buying bonds again. So, shoving currency massively, probably doubling it next time. Is that the next year? Is that 2 years from now? Whenever things start to seize up again, the credit markets, because the credit markets run everything. Remember, looking at the bond market, the credit market, that's what runs everything. The stock market is a derivative of that. Gregor Mannarino talks about this all the time. Daily he comes on and talks about this fact that if people just watch the bond market, you get a real sense of what's going on in the world. So we have to be very cognizant of this and very alert, because this is the game that's being played. People are being lulled to sleep. They're not getting prepared for what's going to happen going forward. Things are going to get worse before they get better. I've said for a while now, there's going to be a lot more civil unrest, and I don't want that. I have family, I've got friends, I've got children. Like, I don't want that. This is why I'm compelled and feel I need to come on here and talk to people about this and make this known, so that more and more people are aware. And just imagine if 10,000 more of us today, and then 100,000 people tomorrow, started blogs, started YouTube channels, started getting the word out that we need to be prepared. We need to get out and make sure people are doing what they need to do. And we're not at the whim of just the breeze, or we're not the whim of Chinese supply chains, or we're not the whim of hopefully Home Depot has it, or hopefully this person has it, and hopefully the food's there. That makes me claustrophobic. Please get independent, get resilient, start doing something, right? Start getting our money out of the system. The banks don't have your money, so go get it now before people start running to the bank, because we've already seen this. Again, ask questions. We've already seen this. Don't trust me. Go verify all this. We've showed this before. People in Lebanon robbing their own bank. People in China going bank runs. Just in the last few months, this has all happened this year. And the tanks rolling in to block the banks. We've seen crypto exchanges halting payments and halting withdrawals. We've seen Canadian truckers get frozen out of their accounts. We've seen the Dutch farmers. And this just goes on and on and on. Sri Lanka collapsing with a 98% ESG score. I mean, again, it's just complete fakeness everywhere. 98% ESG score, and yet we're collapsing. Well, why is that? I thought that was the bee's knees. I thought that was the best thing in the world. When was the last time you heard bee's knees? Anyway, please, if you like this, subscribe. Let's get independent. Let's get resilient. And the harder we can become, the more robust and anti-fragile we are, and the less this all affects us. You can sit back. You can help those who are helping themselves, right? And we can take care of our own. So if you like this, please like and subscribe to the channel. Please share it with someone you think might need this. And I appreciate your time and energy. It's the most important thing we have. It's the most finite thing we have, besides Bitcoin. Again, the only two things I know that are finite. If you don't like it, please let us know. Please dislike it. Please put some comments in so we can provide better service, entertainment, value next time, education. And I look forward to seeing you on the next one.